Hey, friendly neighborhood geek here doing another, uh, children's movie, educational children's movie. I guess you can consider this a family movie, but this is more something I guess you would see in school. Yes, I am talking about Our Friend Martin, an animated movie about Martin Luther King Jr. Also, happy Black History Month. Excuse me, last year I felt kind of bad. I really didn't do many like black oriented reviews. I felt like maybe I could have tried to do a little bit more. So I'm gonna try to make up for that this year for Black History Month. I think in total I've done like four um, black black cinema movies. Um, Living Large with T.C. Carson, Woo with Jada Pinkett Smith, um, Death by Temptation with Kadeen Hardison, and I feel like I'm missing another one. Oh, Poetic Justice with Tupac and Janet Jackson. Um, and if you want to count Afro Samurai as well. So in total, like five, I guess. I might do some more. Some that I think are fairly well known in the black community, and some that may be a little bit more obscure. We'll see. Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of this when I was in middle school. I watched it this year for MLK Day and trying to introduce it to my younger sibling and my parents who had never seen it before. I don't even think they knew it existed. So, had something in my eye. Um, yeah, this has a huge voice cast. I mean, so much talent is in this. Whoopi Goldberg, James Earl Jones, Angela Bassett, Samuel Jackson, Danny Glover, um, Jaleel White, a lot of well-known black entertainers during this period were in this movie. Ed Asner, who was for anybody who's seen Disney's Pixar's Up, the actor who played Mr. Ferguson, uh, the elderly man character in that movie. Ed Asner is in this. So yeah, Ed Asner played him. He also played J. Jonah Jameson, the '90s Spider-Man show, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's really cool. This had two directors. I'll try to remember their names. Vincenzo Trippetti and Robert. I can't remember his last name, but they both sound Italian. Which okay, cool. Two Italian directors directing a movie about Martin Luther King. Cool, I guess. I think the studio that animated this was Deke Animation. I've mentioned them many times in the past. I think they're still around. If you're curious to know what other shows they've done, just Google Deke Animation. Too many to name in this review. So, what is this about, basically? Well, I think it centers around, Martin Luther King, the week of Martin Luther King Day, and we have our main character Miles, who's um, played by our main character right here, and that's his best friend. I think his best friend's name is Randy, who's played by the actor. For anyone who's seen One on One, I can't remember his name, but he was light skinned. I can't. It's gonna bother. I can't remember his name. He was light skinned. He was friends, and I think he may have been dating um, Kyla Pratt, the actress who played Penny Proud on Proud Family, who was the daughter on One on One. So if anyone who's seen One on One, you'll know who I'm talking. I feel bad. I can't remember his name. You'll know who I'm talking about. So him and his class take a trip to I guess tour Martin Luther King's house. The curator or whatever, who's played by Whoopi Goldberg, she is trying to teach them about the history. Of course, none of the kids are really too knowledgeable. So, like I said, the purpose of the movie is to, you know, introduce young children to who MLK was, what his what he did for the world and the black community as a whole, being a civil rights activist and all that stuff. So it's basically just teaching children who he was, what he did, what came of his mission, his goal, stuff like that. So I feel like the educational and historical aspects of this movie really hold up really well. Again, as a young adult, I'm learning stuff that maybe I had forgot about because I did, read about him in school or learn about him in school. So it did remind me of stuff I may have forgotten or be like, oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that, or oh, I forgot about that, or whatever. So that was what I like that. The historical aspect of this movie, in my opinion, still holds up. They take sequences from that period, black people protesting and being excuse me, hassled by police officers and other miscellaneous people who were trying to go against what they were protesting for. Um, so that was cool. It was like they're really trying to really trying to push that message of we have to be united and nonviolence and all that stuff. So yeah, Miles, like he's kind of not too aware of who MLK is. Him and his friend Randy find a watch that belonged to him, and I think his bedroom, while the rest of the class, um, moved on to another part of the house. And also his teacher. So I also believe his teacher wanted him to do like I think they were all supposed to do like a history paper or something. And Miles, was like, oh, I have to get a passing grade. So that's why he started to kind of take more of an interest in who MLK was. Um, oh, I forgot. His mom is played by Angela Bassett. I think she owns her own business or something, company or something like that. So that was really cool. Black women in power. um, so yeah, him and Randy, his best friend, go back in time, and they meet Martin as a young man, or a boy their age, and he's playing with some Caucasian friends, two brothers who are Caucasian who are friends, and their mom. They're all playing baseball. The friend's mom shows up, says something like, you shouldn't be playing with no colored. I feel bad saying it. You shouldn't be playing with them because they're a different race. Referring to Miles and Martin, and she kind of says something to Randy like, if you know what's good for you, you won't hang out with them either. Some shit like that. And Miles and Randy are like why can't y'all play together? Like this is all new to them, having traveled back in time. And Martin explains to them like segregation and colors and Caucasians can't, really interact with each other because of the law or whatever. So then they travel to him as like a young adult on a train. We learn more. We learn more information about him. Then they travel again. I think they meet him as an adult. So they meet him at certain important parts of his life. Eventually, they bring their Hispanic classmate and another classmate who's kind of a bully. I think they bring the two of them along for one of the time travel sequences where they're seeing him protest in Washington, or I guess have a speech in Washington. And we see that their teacher was there at that presentation in Washington, which was really cool. So I forgot somehow. I think Miles he messes with the timeline, so causing Martin Luther King not to become the man he ended up becoming, which caused the future to be completely like if it was bad back then, in the future it's even worse. We're even worse off in the future. Um, so and somehow Martin is brought back to. So I guess maybe Miles brings Martin back to the present or something, and that caused all that stuff to happen. I'm not sure. Time travel is kind of confusing in fiction. Um, so after realizing what was going to happen in the future if Martin didn't do what he ended up doing, he decides to go back. I think but maybe not knowing of how he left this world. Maybe he did or he didn't know how he was going to leave this world. And even knowing that, he still made that sacrifice for all of African Americans, the world. He still made that sacrifice, which was pretty. It was a powerful scene, but it was also sad because if you know the history of MLK, you know how he passed. But with all that being said, it's a solid animated movie. It's an hour, like I said, great cast, solid story. Teaches children about MLK. Hey, your friendly neighborhood geek here doing another. Oh boy, this is a interesting one. This is for Black History Month. So again, another happy Black History Month day or whatever. Um, oh boy, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with this one. I apologize in advance if the topic of this is a black horror short film that was directed by Ari Stadler, um, who was Caucasian. Which when this came out, people kind of had a problem with that. Like, it's a movie about black people, but there's a white director, but it was more so, of course, the director, his vision, it was more so the subject matter and situation um, could happen to any family. It doesn't matter what race you are. Like, the subject matter of this short film could happen with anybody. He just, for whatever reason, chose to make the family African American, which like I said, I can see where he's coming from. And yeah, like, this situation could happen to any family. Doesn't matter what color, what race you are. But um, yeah, this is kind of controversial when it came out. This came out in 2011. This is called The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. I saw this maybe a year or 2 years ago. A friend of mine, we would always watch movies together, and I told her, I said, "Hey, you got like what we would do? We would one week I would pick the movie, it'd be a surprise. The next week she would pick the movie, it'd be a surprise. So we were kind of like, I was kind of like, well, I would like to watch something scary, you know. So if you can find something scary that I've never seen before, or it's obscure, like, that would be cool. And we watched this together. I don't remember how long it is. I think it's like 30, 40 minutes maybe. Um, Basically, it covers incest and uh, rape and I guess sexual abuse or physical abuse, however you want to say it. For those who don't know, incest is like if two siblings had a romantic relationship, or if you had a romantic relationship with your cousin or something, like, or if a parent had a romantic relationship with their child. That's what incest means. Yikes. So we have this father. I'm not familiar with the cast, like, but I'll try to mention their names towards the end of the video. Um, I think the cast all did an excellent job with what they were given. Um, so, like I said, what is this story about? We have. Oh, I didn't put my phone. I keep forgetting to put my phone on vibrate. We have a black family, a father, a mother, and a son. The father is, I believe, like a famous writer or poet or something. Um, and he catches his son um, masturbating, self-pleasuring. I guess also review 18 and up. So if you're not 18 and up, you can't watch this video. um, so yes, he catches his son masturbating, and he tells him, like, it's normal, that's fine, that's a natural thing to do at your age, not knowing that. So when we see him leave the room after talking with his son, we see that the son was holding a picture of his dad as a young man, like in the army or something. So he was masturbating to a picture of his dad, which is just all kinds of just disturbing and fucked up. And so yeah, so it's not the father who is doing this to the son; it's the other way around. Um, and I think it didn't start till like the son's prom night, I think, where he assaulted his dad. Of course, as years go on, his dad is older, and his son is, like a young man. I would say, yeah, he was like fairly tall, like a strong young man. So it was just, but I don't know. It was never like, why did you never, I don't know, go to the police? Or, but I guess like that psychological manipulation and being in that relationship, the dad could have been too afraid to speak up and say something, which is a possibility. That could be one of the themes in the story. So apparently, so like I said, so I think the abuse started around, like I said, when the son went to prom. I think the wife, was aware of some of it to a degree, because I think when it happened on prom night, she saw the husband crying for hours. So I think she kind of knew something was going on, but she didn't fully know what was going on. Um, so then the son gets married, and he gets married to a woman, and I think they were gonna, have a baby. She may have been pregnant, I'm not sure, or had a baby on the way, however you want to say it. And I think after when they were having the wedding reception or party, the mom saw the son giving oral to the dad, like they were hidden away somewhere. Of course, against the dad's will or his wishes or whatever. It wasn't consensual, obviously. Um, and of course, the mom was like panic, like what the fuck, So she had to regain her composure. Um, Sometime later, the dad is taking a bath. The bathroom door is locked. The son breaks the lock and assaults and I guess rapes dad in the bathtub or something. Of course, we don't see we don't see anything sexual. We don't see anything like that, but like it kind of cuts when it's about to get to that point. But you can tell what happens or what happened or whatever. So when that's going on, the mom hears the dad screaming and she just tries to ignore it. She turns the volume up on the TV. So eventually, the dad writes he writes a poem called The Cocoon Man or something. And I think he intended on like revealing what was going on between him and the son. And he planned on publishing the poem or something. The son confronted him. Um, I think while the dad was trying to escape, he accidentally got hit by a car and died. Damn. Um, so of course the son was like, ah! Like the son, the son had a lot of mental psychological issues, but um, so I can't remember if he had a copy of the poem for the wife to find, and maybe she was going to release it or something, and then the son confronted her, maybe, or maybe she confronted the son. I can't remember, but the son, like I said, her and the son have a confrontation. I think the son, like I said, is a loony bird, tells her that he was a better lover to the dad than she was, or something, just something crazy and insane like that. So I guess he tries to K-word the mom, his own mother, tries to K-word her, but in self-defense, she stabs him. He tries to put her head in the fireplace, and she continues to stab him. So I guess I'm kind of spoiling it. I didn't think about it. I'm kind of spoiling it, but my bad. Well, so you see, but from what I've told you, I guess you can kind of tell what happens next. I won't tell you. I won't tell you what mom does with the second copy of the poem. Um, but like I said, when this came out, it was very controversial. But some people liked it for acknowledging those issues that could happen, like those situations that could possibly happen in a family household. Like I said, it doesn't matter what race, what color you are. Um, yeah, so I think they tackled that really well. The fact that it was a white director is very interesting. I mean, it's good. It's very entertaining. But like I said, the source material and the subject matter can be very disturbing, and some people may not be able to really sit through that. And I can totally understand and respect that. But as like a horror film or whatever, however you want to say it, I think it's really good. Casted good. Let me see. Billy Mayo, Brandon Greenhouse and Angela Bullock all did a great job. I think they. Hey, friendly neighborhood geek here, doing another Black History Month oriented video. This time, I guess you could say it's a review and also just to spread awareness that this exists. I'm talking about a property I never thought I'd ever talk about on my page, mostly due to because I see this as mainstream. And for anyone who's listened to what I've said in the past, I tend to not really I tend to try to stay away from mainstream stuff. Now, in the beginning, when I started making content on TikTok, I did kind of talk about stuff I considered mainstream, like stuff maybe I grew up with, like Peter Jackson's King Kong, for example. Some like maybe some Scooby Doo oriented videos or whatever. Like those are properties or characters I assume everybody knows who they are. So I've kind of dabbled in doing mainstream stuff. But yes, I am talking about the Boondocks. Wow, like I said, was not expecting to ever talk about the Boondocks on here. I would consider the Boondocks mainstream. At least in the Black community, a lot of people consider this one of the black, one of the black, one of the greatest Black cartoons ever made, if not the greatest. Right up there with Proud Family. Surprisingly, there are a lot of Black cartoons. Some based off celebrities, and others based off just original properties or whatever. Like I talked about Class of 3000 with rapper Andre 3000. I talked about that show a couple of years ago. I think it's about to be 2 years now. So I might try to. There's other content creators, other Black content creators who've spoken on those lesser known Black cartoons. So I think you should find them on YouTube. They're more they did a better job of talking about those shows than I think I could, honestly. So yeah, but yeah, there are a lot of Black cartoons that a lot of people don't know that exist that I really think are worth you checking out. But yeah, all that babbling. Yes, the Boondocks. So I'm talking about the pilot. Yes, I've talked about pilots of shows in the past. Hint Afro Samurai, for example. Yes, so in 2016, we saw a small clip of the pilot that was uploaded by one of the people who worked on the show, Carl Jones. Carl Jones also, I believe, created Black Dynamite, or at least he created the cartoon of Black Dynamite. Um, and I remember seeing that clip when it was uploaded when it came out, and it was like, oh wow, like it was really really cool to see. But like I said, it was only like a couple seconds. It wasn't the full episode. The full episode is like 6 minutes. Um, of course, the animation is not. It's kind of more cartoony. The official show had a more anime aesthetic, which I think worked better, honestly. I believe in the first season, so our three main characters, Huey, Riley, and Granddad. Huey and Riley are siblings. Huey's the oldest. They live with their grandfather, Robert Jebediah Freeman, I believe. So their last names are Freeman. Um, they live in a town, I believe, called Woodcrest. Um, so yeah, I believe Robert was a part of the civil rights movement. Supposedly, it's kind of spoilerish territory, so you'd have to watch the show to get why I said supposedly. Um, so yeah, so I believe in the first season, a different actress played Huey, and Riley was played by Regina King, another veteran Black actress. Granddad was played by John Witherspoon, R.I.P. Um, Fun fact: I actually met John Witherspoon once. Well, I was say I did and I didn't meet him. Like I was trying, me and my family. I was like around 7, 6 years old. Me and my family were going on vacation. My mom actually saw him at the airport, and she wanted to come up to him and and speak to him and you know just say hello or whatever. But he was asleep. Like he was asleep. He was taking a nap, so she, felt like that wouldn't be cool for me to, go bother him while he's sleeping. So unfortunately, we didn't actually get to like actually talk to him and whatever. But we saw him, and the opportunity was there. But like I said, he was asleep, and my mom didn't want to disturb him. So that's still really cool. I got to see uh, a famous black actor in person, uh, even if it was from a distance. Um, yeah. So excuse me. So I believe so in this pilot, I think a different actress is playing Huey. I think after season one, um, Regina King played Huey and Riley, which was really cool. Uh, so it basically just starts with the boys getting ready for school. They kind of have a little, excuse me, they kind of have a little confrontation with each other. Huey knows martial arts, so he beats, he easily beats Riley, and they get torn. Granddad gets into them like, hey, he gets at them for acting like that, and uh, then they head to school. Then we see their neighbor slash, I guess, friend Jasmine, who's biracial. So her dad's black, her mom's white. Her dad, well, there are other supporting main characters in the show. So you get a little sequence with the three of them together, and then she heads to school. Then we see Granddad going to Uncle Ruckus's house. It was another very funny character in the show, supporting character. We get interactions with them. Then we see the boys at school. I guess they got detention. They had to stay after class for some type of fight. I don't know if the two of them got into the fight or was a fight with other students. Jasmine brings Huey, because Jasmine always kind of had a crush on Huey. She brings him like a sandwich, or a piece of a sandwich, because she thought he would be hungry. And we get some funny interaction between them. And then when she leaves, Riley said, "You took a sandwich from that hoe." I'm sorry. It was funny. The dialogue and the writing was there. It was very entertaining and funny. The voice cast, of course, did a great job. It was very nice to see John Witherspoon. It was nice to hear his voice again, since he's passed away. So again, it's very cool. It's on YouTube. Just look up Boondocks Pilot, and you can watch it 6 minutes. For those people who are fans of the series and maybe weren't aware that the pilot was, so that Carl Jones posted that clip years ago. People who weren't aware of that or didn't know that there was a pilot, now you know, and you can watch it for yourself. Again, this is a huge part of Boondocks' history, of the show's history, the series history, and I guess Black history as well to a degree, since this is considered one of the greatest Black cartoons ever made, up there with, like I said, Proud Family. Um, Also, for those who don't know, the Boondocks was created by, I should have said this in the beginning, but was created by Aaron McGruder. Aaron McGruder was a comic, or I'm not sure if he was a comic book artist, but he was an artist illustrator. So the series started out as uh, comic strips. Uh, so yeah, if you want more Boondocks content, I recommend those comic strips. I think he's made a few new ones in recent years. There were talks of season five or a reboot, because season four. So for those who don't know, season four was not well received. A lot of people felt like it was poorly written, mostly because Aaron McGruder was fired for reasons I don't remember. So, and because he was the overseer of all the scripts and the writing and all that stuff, without him being there, of course, the writing, the storyline of the show suffered with his presence not being there. So there was going to be supposedly a reboot a year or two ago on HBO Max. People were wanting John Witherspoon's son, who's a voice actor and comedian, I believe. They wanted him to uh, play Granddad's character because he could do a good impression of his dad's voice, but they were going to hire a different actor, again, which didn't make sense. A lot of people had issues with that. And then in a podcast that one of the cast members was in, we got the news that it was canceled. All that hype, all that excitement for nothing. I think we got some concept art that was released by Aaron McGruder around that time too. Huge, huge shame. Huge shame. Hopefully, maybe one day Boondocks will can make a proper return. but we have, you know, 3 solid seasons of one mediocre season. So, and this pilot now. So yeah, go give it a watch.